love protects. So what does that mean? That means that there is no way you love people and you don't want to protect them. A father protects the children because he loves them. A husband protects the wife because he loves her. A president protects the country because he's supposed to love the country. You know, we love those who we protect those who we love. You cannot say you love anybody without protecting them. We love those we protect those we love. If you love anyone, you will protect them. We protect those we love. If you love anyone, you will protect them. Protection is part of the benefits of love. It's part of the things that you get when you love. And protection is one of the things that you give when you love. You know, I can remember when I was, you know, now that I'm coming to understand all these things that I'm talking about now, like the qualities and the virtues of love, you know, it makes me to be ashamed of myself when I was growing up in Africa. When I was growing up in Africa, I knew the word love, but most of the time the word love was always connected to marital relationship or family relationship. But I didn't apply love as an African boy growing up in Africa to something universal and to something that is supposed to be applicable to every human being. So I never viewed love that way. But even what is making me to even be more ashamed now is that when I was a young man, I was not a Christian, definitely, but so I was having what they call girlfriends. I was always having girlfriends. And you know what? That idea of love, what love is supposed to be and what love does, I'm just looking at it, looking back now, I never offered that. My own understanding of love that time was that it makes me feel good. And so for me, love was like something that made me feel good. And whoever I say I love is somebody that could make me feel good, which is the total opposite of what real love is supposed to be. And I'm actually very ashamed of saying what I'm saying right now. And I'm very, very, very shameful, because that means I was not really loving those people. I was merely exploiting them. I was using them for my own good. So the goal of my concept of love was to take care of myself, to meet my own needs, which is very shameful. And the girls, the poor girls that were so unlucky to come across me that time, they were just being used as trophies. And that is a disgrace. But what I'm talking about now is as bad and it's as tragic as it could be. But I was a young lad. I left Nigeria when I was 19. I stopped doing all that before then. So, but what is even more heartbreaking right now is that there are grown-up people, adults, pastors, parents, fathers, mothers, grown-up people everywhere, all over Africa today, that is still their own concept of love. So they will go and approach a lady and say, I love you. I want you to be my wife, or I love you, I want you to be with me. And what they end up doing is just the same thing I just told you about. They don't provide her with anything. They don't give her any assurance. They don't give her any security. They just go ahead and exploit her. And just, you know, so when most people in Africa and in Nigeria, where I grew up in, talk about love, they always talk about love in terms of what I can get from you. You know, I love you. That means that you have to meet my needs. So I love you because you can satisfy me. I love you because I see that I can use you to get what I need. That is an animalistic understanding of love. If anybody says I love you, what I'm supposed to entail is to mean that I will protect you. I will protect you emotionally. I will protect you physically. I will not hurt you. I will never allow you to suffer under my care. I will provide for you. I will supply your need. I will be your friend. I will always be there for you. I will cover for you. I will be your covering. I will be your father. I will be to you what your father and your mother couldn't be to you. That is what it means to say, I love you. And so protection is a vital part of love. And unfortunately, men don't know these things automatically. A lot of women make mistake when men tell them that I love you, and they think that that is what love means. But to a man, love does, if a man says I love you, it doesn't mean that he's going to do all those things. In fact, it doesn't even cross his mind. And like I was telling you my own story when I was growing up in Africa, it never even crossed my mind. Each time I would say I love you, what I meant was that I was going to use you. But now, when I got better, when I got to know what I know, I just discovered that actually for me to say I love anybody means that I want to serve them. I want to give to them. I want to help them. I want to supply their needs. I want to provide for them. I want to protect them. I want to care for them. I want to make them comfortable. That is what it means to love. But for the woman, it is automatic. And there is a reason for that. If you want to know the reason why for a man, I love you or love doesn't mean automatically these things that I said. But for a woman, it actually means that automatically. Then you have to listen to my series on the family series, right? I have family series where I was talking about the difference between men and women. So in the difference between men and women, I mentioned it that for a man, mainly, if you say I love you, if a man says I love you to a woman, it's actually just meaning sex. It's just saying I want to have sex with you, basically. That is the bottom line. You can camouflage it under different things, but that is the end result, right? So that's the final stop. But they don't feel like I'm going to protect you. No. Even if a woman later on will come and say, but you say you love me now, protect me. I say I love you, but I didn't say I'm going to protect you. If a woman later on will say, but you say you love me, I have this need. You know what the man will think? You want me to pay your rent because I say I love you? So you want to use me, eh? He's thinking you want to use it. Whereas he doesn't know that just that concept that I love you, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to entail in itself things like I will provide for you. So that's why I will never agree with the fact that today husbands are marrying their wives and they are saying you are going to provide 50% of the rent, I will provide the other 50%. You will provide you will pay the house rent, I will pay for the car. You will pay for the one room, I will pay for the second room. I can never agree with that because if you say you love her, that means that is supposed to entail in itself that you will provide for her, you will cover for her, you will protect her, you will supply her needs, you will be there for her. You will never need to worry about anything. That is what original concept of love is supposed to be. Now everybody will be telling me, oh, pastor, that is not true in the West. This is things are expensive, or or you have to work hard. Okay, no. That is all, okay, I understand all that, right? But originally, in your own heart, you must have the intention, you must at least be informed that for you to say you love somebody means to take care of them, means to take charge and to take responsibility for them. But if you don't want to take responsibility, you want to marry somebody, you are telling them, I love you, and in that you say, okay, you bring something. It's not solid. But this is not just about marriage love we are talking about right now. Let's talk about love in general. So when we talk about love in general, there are things that are entailed in it. That's why I always put all those qualities of love as my title. If you have looked at this love series, you will see that I call them differently. I'm picking on every quality of love. So it's a whole list. By the time you get to the whole playlist of this message, you will see that each one of them are in accordance to what love is and what love is not. What love would do and what love shouldn't do. So, for me as a pastor to say I love my church or I love my church members, that means love protects. As a pastor, I will have to make sure that I protect the interest of every church member. It means that if I tell all my church members that I love you, it means that I'm looking for your best interest. If I say I love you as a pastor to my church members, it means that I'm telling those church members that, you know what, I will be there for you anytime you will need me. It's not that you can't get in touch with me, you can't book an appointment with me for 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, and you can't get a hold of your pastor when you need him most. It's not human. They take your money every week, every Sunday, they take your offering. You don't need to struggle to give your offering. They make it easy for you to give your offering. But then you tell them that you want to meet with them, they make it like going to hell just to book an appointment with them. You can't meet them, you can't see them. So who is loving who? Who is fooling who? So pastors are now fooling their members. If it's church, it's supposed to be church. Church is supposed to be a place of love. So if you are saying that this is church, that we have come to church, a pastor is supposed to love the congregants. A pastor is supposed to love his members. So if you love your member, if you are saying you are a loving pastor, one of the things you should secure for that church, for those members, every one of them. So if you don't want, if you say, oh, we are too many, if you know that you cannot care and you cannot bring protection to every member, then don't build church. Build a church small enough for you to be able to care for them. Build a church, compact enough for you to be able to meet their needs and provide for them protection of their interests. Why should you always do big church? Why should you always do mega church? Is it about you or your mega church? If you cannot function as a mega church, don't go for mega church. Church is supposed to be about love. And if it is about love, love is supposed to protect. So if a pastor is not protecting every church member's interest, is either because that pastor is only after his own interest, is only after his own agenda, or that pastor is ignorant, or that pastor is wicked, or that pastor is just exploiting those members. So love protects. But this is not just about church. I don't know if we could say government is supposed to love the citizens. I think that's supposed to be clear, that government is supposed to love the citizen. I heard that they just abducted another 100 or so ladies, school ladies, school girls, school pupils, for Nigeria. So the government is not providing security. The government is not providing, protection. If the government is not providing protection, where is love? It means there is no love in the system of the government, in the system of the country. And that's a problem. Love protects. If you are a mother and you protect your children, if you are a mother, you will protect your children. You are not supposed to be told to protect your children if you are a mother. A mother protects the children. It's natural. A father protects the children. If you love, don't even mention love. But when we talk about, there are some entities we talk about that love should be automatic. Especially, okay, country, we can say, okay, country is just politicians, leave them alone. But let's talk about church. Church is supposed to be synonymous to love. And if church cannot love these members, what are you going to talk about politicians? Leave the politicians alone. Let's talk about where love is supposed to be their nature, which is the church and the family. So we in Nigeria, we have problems. Do we protect each other? Jesus said, love your neighbor. Do we look after the interests of our neighbors? Do we try to protect and defend our neighbors? Do we wash out for the interest, for the protection, for the upkeep of our neighbors? You remember the instance in the Bible when after Cain had killed Abel, that God came and said, where is your brother? And he said, am I my brother's keeper? Oh, yeah. Am I my brother's keeper? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, my brother. You're supposed to be your brother's keeper. Am I my neighbor's keeper? Oh, yeah. You are supposed to be your neighbor's keeper. Leave the government out of this. Even those people that were adopted, if they if the police had not been taking bribe, there is no way you will take 100 children and the police will not, nobody will notice it. Even apart from the police, even citizens themselves. In America, for example, if you just cross the speed limit, somebody is already, it's not the police, so no police is there, but somebody is already calling, somebody who saw it. I'm sure there is somebody who saw something, because we don't even look out for the interests of others. We have not been raised up as a nation to look out for the interests of our neighbors. We have not been taught as a nation to be our brother's keepers. We have not been taught as a nation to be our, neighbor's keepers. So that whole concept of love has to be, taught into the whole society, to our whole African nation and Nigerian community, society. We need to release that concept. We need to, we need to let that idea of love be propagated. We need to inculcate and make sure that people know what love is, and that we all have responsibility before each other to love people. We have responsibility before each other to love our neighbors. We have responsibility before anybody around you, because if you look out for the interests of your neighbor also will look out for your interest. We need each other. For us to live together, we need each other. And for us to, for us to live together, if we need each other, we need to love each other. If we love each other, we'll watch out for each other's interests, and we'll be able to protect each other as well. So the problem that we have in Nigeria is all largely because of lack of love. If there is love, love will protect. What about people taking money to pastors and mega churches who are buying planes and are building all kinds of buildings when their neighbors cannot eat 3 square meals? What kind of nonsense is that? And you are saying you are Christian just because pastor will see you and shake your hand and pray for you and make you feel good, or you're going to dance and sit in some special seats? When you're a human being, like, you cannot eat. What about if it had been you in the person's place? You are taking millions to church when your own mother, your father, people in your village don't even have anything to use. They cannot eat, they cannot, they don't have electricity, they don't have water, they don't have anything. And you are taking all that money to some people who already are living large? It doesn't make sense. Love will care for the less privileged. Love will care for the needy. Not the ones who are already opulence, who is already living in opulence and opulence by himself. Love will do the right thing. We don't know love in that country. We are in problem. We don't know love. We've not been taught love. You will leave orphans. We have 10 million children that are out of school in Nigeria. And people are building all kinds of structures to glorify themselves. Buying planes and just, you know how much it costs to park plane for one day? Minimum $40,000 just to park a day. Do you know how much it takes to send a child to school for a year in Nigeria? $30. That's in Lagos. In other places, $10 for a year. And you are paying $40 just for parking? Not talk about the fuel. And maintenance, it is $4 million US it costs in a year. $4 million US for parking, fueling, and maintenance of a plane. Just every year. Just every year. Day in, day out. $4 million US. That will take care of 4 million children. And you are still going to that church and giving tithe there. You are still going to that church and giving offering there. Mumu don't cash you now. They have hypnotized you. They have brainwashed you. How can you, who is poor, who is struggling, who cannot pay for private school or even secondary school for your children, you cannot pay no more fee for your own children. They take them to some people every month, every month. The little you have, the meager you have, you are taking it to somebody who can buy you, buy your village, buy your relatives. And you are still going to make him richer every day. Use your mind. Let's use our common sense. Why should you be making the rich richer when the poor are dying? Practically dying out of hunger near you. all around you. And you are talking some religious language to me? That is my tithe, it belongs to God. Okay, is God living in church? Didn't Jesus tell you that if you want to give to me, I am the one who is hungry. I was hungry. Now maybe that. I am the one. He didn't say bring it to church. Where did God say take it to church? He said, I was hungry. So look for those who are hungry if you want to give. I was naked. Look for those who are naked. That's what are the people to give to. I was in prison. I was sick. Look for the sick. This is all talking about giving to the people who are, underprivileged, people who are suffering, people who are disenfranchised from the society. That is what giving to God means. Giving to God is not giving to church. Church, you don't even know what the church is using it for. But on the other hand, if you know what your church is using it for, if your church accounts before you, okay, then you can give to that church. Because if the church is using it well, beautiful. Like the Catholics did. They'll go and build church, they'll go and build school, they'll bring everybody free of charge, hospitals. That's okay. If you know what your church is using it for, beautiful. Give it to church. But if they are not reporting to you, if you are not giving you the accounts and you are not seeing with your own koro eye what they are using it for, you go and use that same your koro eye and look for the hungry, look for the naked, look for the ones in hospital and use it. You are giving it to God direct that way, without any middleman. Now you are using middleman. Love will protect the neighbor. You remember what that Cain said? Am I my brother's keeper? Yes. That means keeper means protector. Yeah. Love is the brother's protector. Love protects everyone. Love, the Bible says love your neighbor. That means protect your neighbor. That means be your brother's keeper. So if my brother is dying of hunger and I say I love, and I pass by him to take money to some GOs, I'm not my neighbor's keeper that way. If my village and people are hungry, all kind of needy people around me, and I'm not noticing them, I'm not providing for them, I don't have love, I'm not my brother's keeper. That's what me, I'm not my brother's protector. But love will protect. If you love, you will protect. Love always protects. There are some families where people beat people. Their husbands beat wives. Can you believe it? You know what? Make they get ready for me now. If God is going to permit me to come to Nigeria, make you write them down. Or any of my assistants here, write it down. One of the laws that I'm going to give everything I have to lobby this law into operation. This law is going to be passed in Nigeria. Either they want it or not, it's going to be passed. We are going to give everything for it tonight. We are going to pass a law that anybody against abuse of women, against beating women, domestic violence, we are going to pass. I'm going to work for it. I'm going to give my best to see if any man will raise a hand or slap a woman or take any element to beat a woman, or even the children also beating children in school. We are going to lobby these things for you to cease. For you to be beating a grown-up woman, mother, somebody who has given back. Don't even know what to say. If you will raise your hand to slap or beat not even your child or grown-up child that is 16 years old or 17, I'm talking about somebody who you said you want to marry, who you marry, who is your wife, your partner, the mother of your own children. It's not even crossing my mind that somebody would do that. But I always hear that people do that. You know what I do in my own church here? If anybody reports to me as a pastor, because I'm a pastor, I must protect. You know what I do? Anybody in this country will report to me that their husband beat them, I take it up personally. It's going to be my own and church situation. We take it up. We go to the court. We go to the police. We take it up. It becomes my own affair, not my own, man to man. It's a man-to-man situation now. If I don't know, if I don't care, if I know the woman, I don't know the woman, I don't care what the woman did. If you will be foolish enough to beat a woman in my church, you are in for it. You are going to fight this thing for the rest of your life, or you are going to sink in prison. Love protects. Love will always look out for the protection of others. If we care for people, we will protect people. If you care for women, you will protect them. Especially when you say that woman is your wife, or you love that woman, don't even mention loving. You are beating her. Don't even tell me, don't even mention that word love. Okay? Don't even mention it at all. Please, let's see one of the videos here. It will help us to see what I'm talking about. So if you are a woman and you are staying back in a house or in an abusive relationship and you are saying, hey, he said he loved me, but it's just anger. Even you yourself, you are supposed to, I was saying you are supposed to be beaten. Go back to him, make him beat you properly. He loves me. He said he loved me. It's only that he couldn't control himself. Okay, go now. Let him go. Let him loose. A woman is not supposed to be beaten. Actually, not just beaten alone. A woman is never supposed to be abused. The Bible says a woman is a weak vessel. You know, this is like a vessel here, weak vessel here. You know, this glass. I cannot just take this glass and throw it like this. Like I'm throwing this one now, or throw it anywhere like this. And it's going to, the thing inside is going to spill. And then this is going to break. How do I treat a woman? I'm supposed to treat a woman with such care as I would treat this thing, rather than as I would treat this one. So you are supposed to treat a lady like you treat 3-year-old child. You are supposed to care for her, protect her, and watch after her. Okay, here we go. Let's see the video.
He threw me out. I was in the street with nowhere to go. My head hurts. I can't go to the police. I'm a mess. He's never done this before. It's killing me. I love him so much, but he doesn't even care that he's hurt me. He says he loves me, but then he does this. I'm sorry to break you in the middle. I just can't believe this happened. I really can't. I can't go back to work. I can't stop crying. Rachel, have you ever known him to be abusive?
Look. We are supposed to pass a law to stop this kind of thing. We look at the woman too. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I thought I know the woman. Maybe I don't know them, but I don't understand. Maybe women should come and explain to us, because I don't understand how these women. Why are they evil? I love him so much. You sick? I love him so much. He said he loves me, so you are going back. Look at all the bruises. And he says, well, he said he loved me. I love him so much. After this, anyway, there is something happening in the minds of women I don't understand. Maybe they should explain for themselves. I don't get it. I don't get it. How can somebody be beat you into stupor like this, and you are still saying, I love him so much? So much? They gave you something to drink? Okay. But that man doesn't love you. If any man is beating you, he doesn't love you. Because love will protect you rather. He will rather protect you from his own anger. He says his anger. If he will protect you from his own anger, he will protect you from anything that can hurt you. He will protect you from anything that can damage you. You know, when I started doing all this, attack, or not attack, whatever, well, expose on these GOs and pastors in Nigeria, I know that a lot of attacks will come to me. I just set my wife away from it. I just put her on her own class, just at the children, so that nothing will touch them. You know, it's normal. If you love people, you watch out for them. You would rather go. It's just like the other day, I got a letter. These people, you know, there's a section, a part of Nigeria where people like to go home for holidays to the village. You know, they have big house in the village and they went to the village on holidays. So in that village, of course, the local thieves and armed robbers, they know that people are coming from Lagos or Abuja for holidays. So they started raiding the villages one by one. So the armed robbers came and started, you know, robbing. In Nigeria, this is only in Nigeria this thing happens. So. Because the armed robbers came, robbed the place, took the woman, the wife, a single woman there, put the children into the toilet, took the wife, make the husband, store him, tied him down in the chair, undress his wife, raping, taking turn to rape the wife, and he's just standing there, he's sitting down there. I said, that day is the day you will kill me. It's better for you to die. And this is not just one case. Oh. They rape your wife, and you say, he's armed robber, what can I do? They had gone. Why don't you die with honor? Than to be saying, well, you know, I'm sorry, I couldn't do anything. Husband, you call yourself. Love protects. Love protects. Or they are raping your children, your daughter, right there in your own house. Let them shoot you now. How many times, ma'am, they die? How many times will you die? And that kind of situation is not once, it's not twice. You go to Nigeria, you hear stories like this. And I don't know how that woman will even survive it. That my husband was there and he couldn't protect me. How will she live with that even? Love protects. Someone who loves has a relentless passion to protect. So for you to be saying, oh, well, they had gone, what can I do? They said they will shoot. Oh. They said they will shoot. Oh. And you know what the man did? This foolish Nigerian man. After they raped the woman finished, you know what he did when they got to Abuja? He said, I cannot live with you again because I noticed that you were enjoying it when they were doing it. The woman is the one now who started begging him. But you know, what he doesn't know with his coconut head is that a woman who is being stimulated, even though she was being raped, it is just physique. It is just the body that was responding. Because she was being stimulated. It was her body she was dying at that time. So they are killing her 2 times. You are sitting down there when they killed her, psychologically, morally, and then you finish, instead of you to hug her, you know, and then you are now telling her, I noticed that it's like you enjoy the thing. And he divorced her. All the relatives came to beg her. I said, I will never sleep with her again. How can she, even though she was a virgin when they married? So see, men. Yeah. So, but real love is, love protects. If you love somebody, someone who loves has a relentless, underline this word. You will have it's a passion. You are addicted to protect who you love. If you really love, you will be passionate and addicted to the desire to protect that person. You cannot control it. What is the news we have from Mr. Ojo Idehe? We have, you are sending it already? You sent it, okay. Okay. Concerning Mr. Ojo Idehe, he's a family member here, a DSA family member. He had this unfortunate incident. What are we doing? We are doing our best to raise money for him. That is love. Love has a relentless passion to protect. Because if he was going to a church, he was going to MFM. There is a church in Nigeria they call MFM, Mountain of Fire. They called him to go and repair something in the church. He fell down, broke his spinal cord or something. He became invalid, disabled. And the church just threw him out. They will not pay for his bills. So now we got to know about it. We are now raising money for that. So please, everybody, we are sending out the letters to all the volunteers now. Everybody that said and volunteered to help with the situation with Ojo Idehe, we are sending out the letter right now as we are talking. Our people are talking, and before tomorrow morning, you get all the letters with the information we have to send the money to. And also, I want to also use the opportunity to talk right now. If there are still people here on the platform who have not volunteered to send it. We decided to send at least $100. Anybody who can afford $100, so that we will send the money to the account of Mr. Ojo. Since the church has rejected him, at least we should do something with love. Love, as anyone who loves, has a relentless passion to protect. You will protect the interests of the person you love. So when a pastor is collecting offering, tithes and offering from the poorest of the poor, what kind of protection are you giving? If the person is already poor, cannot send his children to school, cannot pay his school, and you are saying, well, I have to collect the money from you because, that is the way I can help you. What do you mean? If you want, you say that's the way you can help him by collecting his own money. And it's the opposite it's supposed to be. You are supposed to help him by giving to him what you have. But Nigerians' mind, they have torn our mind. So somebody is now taking the last you have, taking something from you, and then convincing you, brainwashing you that by him they do you good. How can you be doing you good when you are collecting? Then by the time you collect from 1,000 people, who is doing you good? When the person who is collecting from you is saying, you don't worry, God will provide for you. God? Why can't that same God provide for you yourself the rent? Why do you need my own money? I think you are closer to God now. If you are closer to God, you should be able to negotiate your own deal with him. So that God should give you, in fact, he has to give you more. Because you are so close to him, so that you can have enough to now distribute to us who are just under human beings that are not close. But in Nigeria, they have bamboozled people's mind. Instead of protecting them, and the pastor would rather tell them story. He will say, I was in the Okoja the last time, Lokoja. I was in Delta. They brought what they had to me. And by the time you see it, I came back next year, they already have men. So people, that's what they call brainwashing. How can it be that the person who is, okay, let's even say it's true, that the people who gave to you, who are giving, they become rich. And why don't you practice that same principle by yourself? They will say, oh, I gave to somebody, what about me? I didn't need here. If you say you believe in giving, then practice giving. But what you are practicing in Nigeria is not giving, it's collecting. What they are practicing in Nigeria is not giving, no, it's collecting, no. If you believe in giving, you the pastor who the preacher, now you be the first one to practice them. If you say you the pastor, you believe in this giving, that they work, oh. Why? Me, I don't understand. This is our country. It's only in Nigeria this kind of thing they happen. No? They don't turn man's mind. They have turned human mind the opposite direction. If this country, if this Bible you believe say, okay, it is the giving that will bring prosperity. Why is your own prosperity coming from us, we who are just barely making ends meet? The poor of the poor. Why is it that from us should they collect to make ends meet? I mean, your own ends meet. But our own, we will go and believe God. You cannot believe God. Or you cannot do practice giving. They have spoiled that country. There is no more church in that land, though, as far as I'm concerned. They don't have church in Nigeria. Whatever they have there is just imitation. They have destroyed everything. But if you are a pastor and you love, someone who loves has a relentless passion to protect his flock. You will have a relentless passion to make sure that everybody has something to eat. You will have a relentless sure that everybody has, you send their children to school. That their children can go to school. It will be your addiction as a pastor. How can people be coming to my church and their children are not going to school? But today now, as I'm here right now, as I did here so, as I'm here right now, I can tell you for a fact, because I got a telephone call for me to be helping pastors who are senior pastors in Nigeria in Winners Chapel. How can you be a pastor in Winners Chapel? You are a senior assistant in the headquarters and in other places, the city, and then you cannot send those children cannot pay the school fees. Because their salary is not enough to pay, and in Nigeria, all of them are giving birth to children by faith. 3 children, 4 children, 5 children, and they cannot pay for their school fees. And that same university or that same church has schools. These people are not even saying we cannot afford the schools of the church. That won't forget. We are even saying now at least the one that is shipped right there in the something to pay for the school fees of the children, of our own children. We are not. These are staff. The church is not giving the staff the scholarship or free education. These are not just staff, these are pastors. They have to pay outrageous money that they cannot even they cannot afford. Now they are calling you abroad to come and be helping them. And these are very faithful members, and they will still be saying, Papa doesn't know. Papa is not this. Papa. I said, Papa, which is your Papa? Why can you call me and you cannot call Papa? May I get to it? Why can you call me here and you cannot call your Papa there that you are serving for the last 25 years? Papa, it's not Papa. Papa. If your Papa loves you, any Papa that loves, he loves relentlessly. You know, someone who loves has a relentless passion to protect. If that Papa loves, that Papa will see to eat. That Papa will see to eat that everything is done. You know what? One offering, that if that Papa calls for one offering, he can pay for all the children of the school fees of the pastors in that old ministry to the end. One offering that Papa will call for. But Papa is only relentlessly passionate about his own pocket. All the Nigerian papas are only relentlessly passionate about building their own empires. They call church. The one came to me and said, "Hey, we just bought the 5th jet. You know, our ministry." I said, "Your ministry, what's the number? What's the plate number of the jet? Where you say I'm finished? Where did you see it last? You can't even see it, talk less of sitting down inside. Me, I will sit down inside because your bishop has offered me to fly me around the country. But you know, go offer you because you are nobody. But now they give money for him. We are rejoicing. What are you rejoicing about? You don't go taste them. You are not going to taste what you are rejoicing about. But Americans are coming to fly that jet, and you are just rejoicing and clapping, Papa. But let me tell you today now, so that you hear. Someone who loves, if anybody loves you, especially those women that want to marry, I'm 30 years old, I'm 33 soon, one brother is coming. If he's a brother, if he's serious, if he's a normal human being, this is the way you use to judge. Anyone who loves will have a relentless passion to protect you. But if he's coming to say he loves you, and then he's saying in the restaurant, you pay for 50%. You pay for food and pay for Coca-Cola. If that was to say, I think you are not ready to marry. That guy is not ready to marry. That guy, you know, so especially in the UK, all the women are the ones supporting their husbands. And you say you are married. Nonsense. And you know, another one, the case that I know in the UK is that people, you go and marry man from Nigeria, do visa for him, get passport for him, and then he goes and drop you and go and marry somebody from Britain. And go and marry white girl for himself. He said I never tasted it before. He wants to have taste. And you pay his bills, his ticket, his passport, his immigration, his... And she was working 2 jobs, 3 jobs to get him to come. So someone who has a relentless passion to protect is the person who loves you. If the person says, I love you, but he doesn't have the relentless passion to protect you, if you cannot go to work for your protection, if you cannot go to work for your... then he doesn't love you. Why is it that you, woman, is the one who is having relentless passion to work and get the visa and get another one? Another case I'm dealing with right now in the UK. She also she started working from 17 years old. She wouldn't even go to do as university education because she wanted to work to bring him. Then he came, he said, I'm a full-time minister. So the time she was supposed to go for the university, she thought he will come, he will get a job, she will go to school. And he came, he said, no, I'm a full-time minister. In Nigeria, full-time minister is not supposed to work. Full-time ministers don't work. I'm a full-time minister. So instead of going to university, she had to go to continue to work to sustain him. Then she got pregnant. Now trouble can come because nobody to work. And you know what he did now? He went back to Nigeria to get married to another woman. He cannot work again now. And he went for the UK government to register for welfare. That's what they know for a Nigerian girl. So you ladies that are just submitting yourself to all kind of abuse, me, I don't understand. If somebody loves you, the person will have a relentless passion to protect you. You seek the security of those you love. If you really love people, if you really love somebody, you will seek for their security. You will seek for them to be secure financially. You will seek for them to be secure morally. You will seek for them to be secure emotionally. You will seek for their emotional and otherwise, or security. I have a message here I just got. This is somebody, I think I shouldn't read it because this is somebody that a lady who has husband in somewhere in Europe. If you see what she's writing, she's so over the board. Because I just felt that Holy Spirit was, I know she has issues that God just put in my mind that send some money to her. Not much money, just send some money to her. If you see the way she's rejoicing, this woman. I said, I commit crime, that I know that you have problem and I solve it. She's jumping up and down because she has somebody who is calling himself the husband. And she is sick, she cannot work, and he cannot go to work to provide for her needs. She's dying there. Somebody somewhere, I never even met her, sending her the money. And she's jumping, I say, you are God, say, I said, look what is happening. So if somebody says he loves you and he doesn't seek for you to be secure, he doesn't seek for your well-being, he doesn't seek passionately, relentlessly to protect you, to give you security, then he doesn't love you. So someone who loves has a relentless passion to protect. You will seek the security of those you love. For example, your child, you seek for the well-being and security, protection of your child. You do the same thing for your spouse, if you are normal, of course. You do the same thing for your parents, etc. For example, I've not been able to leave Ukraine now for how many years? For 10 years. But I have a plan. When I get to Nigeria, I don't just want to, because I love where I grew up. And thank God I did it. I was not traveling these 10 years because thank God, when I was traveling all over the world, I didn't think much about it. But now that I've not traveled from Ukraine, I have a plan for my village. Not just for I don't have father there, I don't have mother there, I don't have grandmother. No, everybody's died, right? But I still want to go back to that village. And my plan, because I love the village, whatever you love for, you will see to their well-being. So I'm planning to go back to that village. By the grace of God, I'm going to. I don't care. They are saying they are waiting for the governor or the government to construct road. They are not care for government. I'm going to construct that road by the grace of God. Is it water system they need? Is anything they need? And I have another surprise that I'm not going to say here right now. Because by the grace of God, maybe I should say, I want to build a villa, what they call it, a cottage, an estate, where of every family that was there when I was growing up, because other people have come there that I don't know. But the families, the main families that were there when I was growing up, I want to build a house for every family. But not house like where I was growing up in, no toilet. I grew up in a house where, yes, if you want to go to toilet for my village, in the village where I grew up, I shouldn't tell you, so that you don't laugh too much.
No, you go to the bush.
Yeah, of course. How do you know?
I'm a village man.
So it's all over the country. That means, you know, when I saw latrine for the first time, I was surprised. This technology there somewhere, away with the go bush. There was no pit latrine, even. Talk less of water system, something. You want to go to toilet, the only understanding of toilet that we had is to go to the bush. If you are good enough, you can just use your leg to create some hole like that, some little, so that, but because my grandmother told me that when you do it, they just put some of the grass, some of the sand, put it on top, that's all, and go get some banana leaves and do your job. Do your cleansing system before next time. But the problem is I was not the only one who was going there. So each time you come back, you might step on another one's covered potato. Before you get to do your own. So that's why if God has now blessed me to be where I am today, and you love that village, there's no way you will not care for their protection. I'm thinking about it every day. I'm budgeting to be able to do that, so that nobody will have to go to the bush to release themselves. Or if you want to bath, natural resources. The only thing you need is a pail. Go to the river, bring it, and shower. That is the real shower. Just go to the back of the house so that people are not in the open place, that's all. No complications. So this is the person you are seeing today. This is the person you are seeing today. But if I love that village, if I love the people there, I'm still thinking, I'm 50 now, I'm still thinking of how I could relive their lives. And not just for my village, but for the whole Nigeria. I'm still thinking. So, someone who loves has a relentless passion to protect. You seek the security of those you love. Your child, your spouse, your parents, etc. Which one do you want to show now? We have a video here. Chris? Let's do Chris. But you will see what Nigerian pastors are preaching. They will be telling you not to give money to your own parents. Sick-head men. Those men that belong, these so-called GOs, they belong in the psychiatric hospitals. They are saying they love their members, but they are telling you to bring all the money to them, to the church. Don't give to your village. Don't give to your mother. Don't give to your relatives because they could go and use it to do something. How can people be so messed up in their mind to that extent? Some people say don't give to the poor, because if you give to the poor, you can go and use it to do sham, to do shasha. They call sham something now. Shasha, they call it, or shisha. There is a new language for sham or for medicine. Yeah? They call, I think, is it shasha or shisha? They call it these days. There is a new, I just learned it. This anyway, they go and use it to do medicine, black medicine. Let's see this one of the GOs here. They are so selfish. They are so selfish. They are teaching rubbish to people, and people are believing them and doing it to the detriment of their own relatives, families, their country, and everything. Wickedness. This is a whole organization of wicked people. Can you imagine that somebody will leave this church after listening to this teaching and go and give 1 million to Benny Hinn when there are children that are homeless that cannot even pay $10 a year for school, even in his own relatives and village? No provision, nothing. Somebody will be going to give 1 million to Benny Hinn because you want anointing. Not TV day. He's talking about partnership. And in those partnerships, I'm thinking you have to register. You have to write it down. Though the Bible says what your right hand is doing, what your left hand is doing, your right hand should not know. So any church where they are telling you to write partnership, to write your name down on that money you give, it is not scriptural. That's a cult. If they are telling you to register and write your name so that they will know your tithe and your offering or your something like that, nobody should know about it. It's a cult. You shouldn't listen to all those rubbish. There's all a way to manipulate you so that they will know. They will be able to tell if you are giving or you are not giving. Yes. And they'll be able to treat you with preferential treatment or rather neglect you. Yes. So love protects. Someone who loves has a relentless passion to protect. You seek the security of those you love. So today we are talking about love protects. So love has a relentless passion to protect. You seek the security of those you love, your child, your spouse, your parents, etc. Romans 12:9 says, let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil, cling to what is good. The investment of time is another proof of love. When you love people, you want to protect them, you will put time into them. You invest time into them. You want to spend time with those you love. That's one of the ways you give security to the people you love. Romans 12:10 says, be kindly affectionate to one another. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another. So this Bible saying this, that we should give preference to one another. If I'm a pastor, who should give preference first? I'm the pastor now. If the Bible is saying be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, it is the pastor who is supposed to be the first one to prefer, to give preference to the members. It is the pastor who is supposed to be giving to the members. Because it says be kindly affectionate. How is the pastor affectionate to one of the brothers in the church? How is he honoring others above himself? If the Bible is saying we should honor other people above ourselves, how is the pastor honoring every member above himself when he's saying don't pay for your rent? When he's saying don't go and pay for the rent, for the needs of your grandmother? When he's saying don't go and take care of the needs of your uncle? When you love, you are willing to express your expectations. If you cannot ask questions like, please just came and say, you cannot raise your hand in church and say, Pastor, I have a question. Or I don't agree, I disagree. If you cannot tell your pastor you disagree or you have another opinion, what kind of church is that? That is not church. That is a cult. When you love, you give the person the willingness to express themselves. Freedom. Where there is love, there is freedom. If you love somebody, you give them the liberty to talk, to express themselves. There are expectations in those we love. If you say we love each other, this is a church, it must be mutual. It's not just unconditional. Members are loving church and they are pastor unconditional, and then they are the only ones giving the one road traffic. No, they have their own expectations too. Church members must have their own expectations to those who they love and who claim to love them. When you give, you wish to receive also. When these church members are giving, they also wish to receive. Hebrews 10:24. And let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works. What churches in Nigeria are doing, they are not considering one another. They are not stirring up, love and good works. When you love, you will not be shy to correct those you love, you say. If you see someone going to die, you will like to do something about it. So if there is love in the church, you will correct each other. You will correct the members, will correct pastors will correct member too. 1 Thessalonians 5:8, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and as a helmet, the hope of salvation. You know, love is a protection. There is no protection. You know, breastplate is a protection. Putting on the breastplate is the defense. Love is a protection. Love is defense. And love protects. If you really care for someone, you will not allow them to destroy themselves. You know, you are now pushing them to destroy themselves. They shouldn't pay for their house rent. They should pay from their school fees. You are pushing them to self-destruction. You don't love them. They shouldn't pay for their grandmother. They shouldn't pay for their uncle. You don't love them. You are pushing them to self-destruction. Luke 6:35. But love your enemies. Even your enemies you are supposed to love. But in our churches, the people don't even love their members, not let of their enemies. Do good and lend, hoping for nothing in return. And this man wanted to lend from the church, borrow from the church. And the church would not even lend. Would not even lend to the guy, even though the guy had paid them and given all his money to them. But the Bible is saying, lend, hoping to receive something in return. And your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High. So these churches and these GO are not sons of the Most High, because their behavior is totally the opposite of the behavior of the Most High. For he is kind to the unthankful and evil. Even God is kind to the unthankful and evil. We are not even talking of to church members. When you love, you are willing to forgive and forget. Love requires a lot of mercy and grace. So I appeal to all of you to forgive all those pastors, forget, and leave them alone. Let them go to hell by themselves. 1 Corinthians 13:7, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. The mercy we receive is proportional to the mercy we are willing to give out to others. If you don't feel loved, it might mean you need to do more loving yourself. We can forgive others, but that does not mean we should immediately trust them, because trust must be earned. Trust must be verified and proved. So if you forgive all those pastors, you know, but that doesn't mean that you must go back to them and trust them again. Better leave them alone. So if you don't feel love, go and look for people to love. It might mean you need to do more of loving. Go and look for people to love. Go and look for the unloved in the society and love them. The mercy we receive is proportional to the mercy we are willing to give out to others. You know, you have received some mercy from God. Go and give mercy to other people.